Rance Plays. I actually ran Home Pass Friday, I think it was, just gone by. So, if you have a look on my YouTube channel, I believe the video for that one has already gone up. Oh yes, video the title. Title! I forgot the title. Leaving Wenatchee Part 5 by RBJets. Stevens Pass BNSF ES44DC. There you go, folks. Right, with a spill now under control. This leg is a straight shot for your next stopping point. Get rolling. We have the high ball. You know what time it is? You've got it, guys. It's time for cinematics. And bushes. Do I know when the Victory Works TPO and Saint are coming out? Haven't a clue, I'm afraid. Jimbo, do you have to script a scenario? You don't have to use the scripting at all, no. Scripting adds extra type functionality that you can't get without it. But you certainly can write a perfectly good scenario without it. Sit here, Apple. Just realised the wipers are on. Where are you, Moggy? Why are you not? Lions got some, ran it once on stream. That's what I thought. Probably when it was released. I don't really run Stevens Pass all that much, so that's one of the reasons I quite like this series, because it's a good excuse to run it. There's also another series from the same author. Well, look at that, it looks awesome. There's another series from the same author, which is Leaving Revelstoke. So that I was thinking I've got that one planned in, I think, for this week or next week. Is it raining? Because there it's thundering. Oh wow. Well, stay safe, Thunderbolt. If you need to unplug your PC just to keep it safe from lightning strikes, then I would suggest you do that. Last thing you need is to damage your PC if you get a lightning strike. I remember a friend of mine, when I was much younger, I used to run a bulletin board. I don't know if anyone here remembers what bulletin boards are, using modems. I don't know if you remember what a modem is. And he had just saved up and bought himself the Rolls Royce of modems, a US Robotics Courier. And you know, both he and I had saved up and bought these things. About 350 quid. These were not cheap modems, but they were the Rolls Royce. It was like having the Ferrari of modems. I'm going to quit calling random car names that just make it sound more expensive. I think the Tesla of modems, the Pagani of modems, and he left it plugged in during a lightning storm. and there'd been a lightning strike on the phone line, and it basically turned his modem into black charcoal. So he was not happy. He was not happy. Quite rightly, I know I would have been upset too. The Prius of modems. Oh, absolutely. It would be super ironic if anyone here actually remembered USS Megabyte BBS. I don't think that many people used it, so they were all in the UK. That view! OMG! You actually suggested a scenario of the high mech. Alright, I'll go and have a look, Flying Scotsman, see if I can get some high mech goodness going on. Your first modem was a 14.4. Ah, my first modem was a... Was it 1275? No, it's a 2400. It was a 2400, my first modem. I borrowed a multiplex, I think it was, one from when my dad was working at the time, and then a friend of mine gave me ex-British Telecom stock. I mean, this thing was, I kid you not, this big. It's so big it wouldn't even fit on the screen. It was just bigger than these monitors, each of them. It was enormous, and it was a whole 2400 board. I mean, we talk about megabits per second now. This is 2.4K per second. What's in the wagons? These are aircraft parts. You got the Tornado. They were a good modem, weren't they, for the price? They really revolutionised the pricing. They were quite a nice modem. I remember, so I used to run an ISP, and we had about a dozen Tornadoes. In fact, I think I've probably still got at least one Tornado in a box here somewhere. But the Rolls Royce was the Pagani, if you will, was the US Robotics Courier. They were just an outstanding piece of kit. Can I get in the cab, Daniel? I certainly can. Hang on a minute. We're going to be running a bit too fast for the camera, for the controller in a minute, anyway. Your first modem was a Pace 56. Nice. Yeah, well, the nice thing about the Courier was that it was bought. When I bought it, it was a V32 BIS, so it was 14.4. I think, yeah, 14.4. And then it got the upgrade. So there was a free upgrade, I think it was, which turned it into a 16K8 modem, which was a proprietary US Robotics standard. Then there was a chip upgrade that you had to pay for, and the chip upgrade turned it into a V34 BIS modem, which was 28.8. Then, no, that was V34. Then there was V34 BIS, which I think was 33.6. And then after that, you had the V92 standard, which was 56K. And that was kind of when modems sort of gave way to DSL. What's he doing down there? Oi, use what's in the loco. Dirty. ISDN, yeah, well, ISDN was always around. It was just significantly more expensive, CompuFreak. I remember at one point I used to connect to an ISP with a dual channel 128 ISDN and two 64K channels dual bonded together with a haze. Stephen John, with a class 52, 35, 50, 47 all run on the Riviera line. That sounds reasonable, yeah. Thunderbolt, what time will this scenario be done? So this scenario is about 40 minutes in total. I don't know what time it started. We are due in, that's 12 minutes away, so given we're doing about 20 miles an hour, half an hour? Something like that. Penn Central, I know. What happened is I misunderstood. I thought... So there's a bunch of stuff didn't get uploaded to YouTube. And so I misunderstood that I hadn't done those. So I put them in the schedule. I'm going to go back and rip them all out again. Didn't you have to separately rent an ISDN line? Certainly did. So at UK, I had a an ISDN line separately that I paid for. This was back in the days when I was a rich IT contractor. Off the back of the truck. Are you waiting for your mate? He's going to be a while. He was busy. I remember when I first moved into London. This is like. So I come from Suffolk, and then I moved down to Ingate. So I moved around, eventually got to Ingatestone, just outside the M25. It's on the Jamal, and then we moved into London. We moved into Leytonstone, which I guess is Greater London, and it's not even London, is it? Technically, it's Forest Gate, but never mind. And one of the things that was really on my mind, was so hyped about, was, you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get a decent DSL internet connection. There he is, he's busy. I'm going to get a decent internet connection. Finally I can order DSL, because I couldn't get DSL back at in Ingatestone. It was too busy. Even though it was just outside the M25. If you're outside the M25, then you're in the country. So I got moved into London. I got the phone line installed. I got the British Telecom man to come down. I'm like, hit me with that ADSL goodness. And he put the line in. He ran a line test and he took it back out again and said, this line is so bad you can't even have ISDN on it. However, because there's nothing wrong with the voice, I can't fix it. Because back in those days, they wouldn't fix the line if it couldn't have DSL. They could only fix the line if it couldn't do voice. So I went from having an ISDN in Ingatestone to a 56k modem in London. I was not happy. First world problems, I appreciate, but nevertheless. A little bit later on, or I don't know, about a year later, they did self-install ADSL. So I went and headed and got it, and I ordered one. And when I got it installed it and did it myself and ran the test, it worked fine. So I kept it and it worked beautifully. Quite a long time actually. I can't remember. I think it was up to it had been upgraded to about a 10 megabit link by the time Virgin came along. No, it wasn't 10 megabit. Sorry, I think it was 2 megabit or something daft. Jimbo routers. It was the old. You have to be in the UK to remember these. Who remembers the Frog? The original ADSL Frog, the green things. That was what we used. Imagine how long it would take to upload a streaming vid with a modem. That's just hysterical. 56k connection for the win. Per month for what, Compy Freak? What, the ISDN or DSL? Coming up is the 7.8 mile long Cascade Tunnel. Use light throttle with a little brake to maintain a good speed downhill. Tunnel time for the hype. The Stingray, there you go, Moggy. Is anyone else here in the UK who remember the great thing that was FreeServe back in the day? This first idea of an ISP that you did not have to pay £10 a month for. And the fact that they even supported dual channel ISDN with no extra with no cost. It was ridiculous. So I paid BT for the ISDN line, but then FreeServe had an 0800 number you could ring with dual channel ISDN and get 128k access. It was ridiculously cheap. I can't remember how much the DSL was back then. It wasn't particularly cheap, but FreeServe was a great idea, poorly implemented. It's one of those things, though, isn't it? If you have something you're going to give away for free, then you need to expect lots of people to want it. Yeah, FreeServe was taken over by Orange. That's it. Walter Plinge, I got to a point, because again I used to run an ISP back in the day, and I could tell anytime anyone rang into my back when I ran the bulletin board, I could tell when the modem picked up and started doing the negotiation. I could tell what kind of speed they were using because I recognised all the different sequences. That was just how sad it was. Moggy, DSL was £35 to £40 a month. That was it. That sounds about right. It wasn't cheap, that's for sure. Doors have just opened. I don't know if anyone noticed that. We have the green. Did they increase the speed later? Yeah, the green frogs and so forth went up to, I can't remember what we actually went up to in the end before I switched over. I know the half megabit connection was a mind-blowing thing, wasn't it? It was just ridiculous. You were just like, I am never going to need any more bandwidth than this. This is just insane. So what happened then while I was in London was that I started running into major problems with the with the ADSL. This was probably a few years later, where essentially every time it rained, the ADSL would stop working. You know, that sort of joyous, so lovely, love that kind of problem. And just got you custom build gaming computer. Nice football train crash. Jimbo, the brown cars behind me have got airplane parts in them for Boeing. Yes, so let's get some dynamics on. So I started having this problem with the ADSL where it wasn't working particularly well during the wet weather, and as a result of that, I started looking at other options. And there was no point going for another ADSL because it was just going to have exactly the same problem. But Virgin, or NTL as it was back then, had started announcing, "Hey, we're going to be launching in your area soon." So I started paying a lot of new interest and attention to what they were doing and saying. And then and we already had an NTL TeleS or NTL cable box anyway for the telly in the house. And they brain fart. Why are you going back down like that? Get on with it. Right. Yes, so we already had the NTL box, and internet was done through the NTL box. NTL was out. The internet was actually done through the cable box. It wasn't a separate modem. And so what? I'd got wind through. I don't know if any of you here use the Digital Spy website. It's a really great website, but it's a UK thing. NTL cable sold UK varies depending on where they are, because what you have to remember with NTL is a conglomeration of loads of other companies. So the NTL, I can't remember what it was, but the NTL we were on was really awesome. But there's other ones like the pre-Diamond and so forth, like the Diamond Internet, that were rubbish. So the NTL network was just this fragmented mess of different things depending on all the companies they'd bought up, and they hadn't really at that point standardized and upgraded everybody to the same level. Now Cablecom or something like that, not Cablecom but Cable something or other, that was the company that historically were the heritage for our link, and there was a very, very good connection. So it was supposedly good. I went to so following Digital Spy, and they were saying that this was coming in the area, and I was following some of the engineers that were talking on there about, you know, presumably they were talking inappropriately, but they were talking about stuff they were doing, and they said, right, it looks like we're almost there. And sure enough, a couple of weeks later, all the press started coming out, big billboards up all over Leytonstone and Forest Gate. NTL, we have broadband in your area, 10 megabits. You know, I was on a 2 megabit ADSL connection, 10 megabits. This is just like, now I really won't need any kind of extra bandwidth. So I immediately, and I mean the second I got home, I was on the phone to NTL saying, hit me up with some of that, dude. And they said, stop calling me dude, that's really weird. And they gave me the internet anyway. So I plugged in my laptop, pressed the button, nothing happened. Still couldn't get anything to work. Started to get a little bit frustrated. And eventually I tried everything I knew how to do. Now bear in mind, as I said, I used to run an ISP, so I kind of know how the internet works. I know everything there is to know about, well, I say everything there is to know, I know a lot about how internet works. So I knew kind of roughly what wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening on their side. I knew my end was perfectly correct. So I got onto the phone to the support. Now when you ring up the support, you get the whole, so, have you restarted your computer? Have you done this? Have you done that? And so, you know what? I'm not going to be that guy that rings the support and knows everything. I'm just going to say, you know what? You've got your cheat sheet. You're going to guide me through the steps. Now at the end of it, it's all going to work. And I'm happy with that. I just want a working 10 meg connection. Dude! Stop calling me dude, they said. And so we walked through the sequence. Got to the end of it. Still wasn't working. And they were like, okay. That's interesting. Let me contact my upline manager and I'll get them to call you back. Okay then. So I fell for it the first time. No one called me back. So I called them back again. Went through the whole process again. Guess what? Still no idea. And I fell for it again. They said they'd call me back. By this time, I've been on the phone, kid you not, for 8 hours. And we've got nowhere closer to figuring out why this doesn't work. At this point, it's long past, it's bedtime, so I go to bed. I come back. Come home from work, straight on the phone to them. What's going on with my link, dude? Stop calling me dude. And they said, so we went through it. And then they said at the end of it, yeah, I'm going to have to call my upline manager and see if I can chili with extra beans in a long tunnel. Not good. Tanks, ha ha ha. So they said at the end of the thing, you're going to go what? Try and get the. Can I talk to the upline manager and I'll give you a call back? I'm like, seriously? No one ever calls me back. Oh yeah, no, I know. We'll definitely call you back. They didn't. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to be really, really shirty the next time I call them. I'm going to be that guy. And so I got this one. And whereas everybody else I'd spoke to, so I've spoken to half a dozen support agents at this point. Everybody else had been really young. I got to this other guy who was much older. It gave me the impression of being a retiree that was there because he wanted, I don't know, top up on his retirement money or something. More there because he wanted to be there rather than the youngsters who are just doing it to get beer money. And I went through the process with him, and I started out by explaining where I'd been and going through this whole conversation. What am I dribbling on about now? Don't you worry, Dave. It's above your head, mate. He said, well, I really apologise for everything that you've gone through. We are going to get this sorted one way or another, or find out the answer. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's go for it. So we went through the whole process again. And at the end of it, he said, I have to talk to my line manager. I'm like, really? really? It says, no, I will call you back. I'm like, well, you know what, if you don't, then I'm just going to cancel all my Virgin services, because frankly I've had enough. He called me back. Top marks to that guy. He called me back. However, slight egg on Virgin's face, because it turns out that in that area Virgin have two what they call head ends. So it's like in telephone terminology, it's an exchange. It's the thing that your phone line connects to. So it turns out that in Waltham Forest they have two head ends, and they've both been getting upgraded. And at some point in the planning phases, they'd realised one of them doesn't have any room, and they needed to build an extension so that they could get on with it. And so meanwhile the other one carries on being, oh, they got room in that one, they start deploying it, upgrading it, getting all the new kit in there and so forth. When the first one finishes, someone gets very excited and says, job done, and starts advertising that all of the service is now available, even though the other head end is nowhere near finished yet. So it turned out they had something like 10 to 20,000 people who couldn't get on because there was no connection. Malarax248346, thank you for the follow, much appreciated. So yeah, there was no connection. They just simply did not have that service in this area at this point, because they completely messed up the scheduling. So they took the service off of my connection, and then called me back, I think it was a month later, and I put the and they re-enabled it, and it worked straight away, and I've been with them ever since. It's just been a brilliant service, absolutely brilliant service. All bar that. I mean, that's gone. So I've gone from 10 megabit. I'm on 200 megabit now, yeah, it's just grown and grown and grown. And the cost of the price of service, I don't think it's really gone up appreciably. Yeah, it's gone from a 10 meg to a 200 megabit service. Amazing. The secret password tech support, yeah, really. It's like the secret password to a menu system. When you ring up and it says, press 1 if you want to do this, press 2 if you want to do this. What you do is usually press star or something, and it will take you through to an operator, but they usually don't tell you that. If they don't want you to go through to an operator, whereas most menus are designed to, if you don't know what you're doing, they do something with you so you can get to a menu, you get to an operator. But normally it's press 1 to do this, 2 to do this, 3 to do this, and 4 to repeat the menu. And you're thinking, I just want to talk to somebody. Just press star or hash or something like that. Or an invalid option. Normally 3 invalid options or star or hash will get you to an operator. You had endless problems with Virgin, Jimbo. I must admit, the service here has been really good. Occasionally when I've had problems with them, they've come out and they've fixed it. They've shipped me new routers free of charge, and they've just gone in and worked, no problem at all. The only problem I have had with Virgin is the Virgin routers have got the built-in wireless support, and I had loads of problems with that. Loads of problems with it. And it basically, when I started looking at the recommendations from others, the general guidance was turn that Wi-Fi off, turn your NTL, your Virgin box into a modem, and then install your own, buy your own wireless router and install that. So that's what I did, and it's been flawless ever since. So the Virgin service is great. Their routers are junk. Just a shame, because they're Netgear, and I usually like Netgear stuff. I don't know quite what's wrong with that. I was never happy with any of the DSL providers we used. They all sucked at various levels, but I think that's because fundamentally DSL sucked. Back in the day, if you were lucky, you could actually speak to an engineer rather than train monkey with a computer screen and a cheat sheet. Yeah, in my entire thing, I never got that. I never got that lucky to talk to an engineer. But like I said, I did get through to that one guy who was actually he really put the work in. I'm really, really grateful to him. He was that's top service. Amtrak Master, you're going to get American trucks in. Nice. You're now 200 megabit and you can upgrade to 300 mega. At the moment 200 meg is their fastest. Never lucky enough to talk to yours truly then. Oh, you were an engineer, were you, Moggy? Talk to an engineer would have been so much easier. It was just like, I know what a DHCP request, I know what a DNS request is, I know what an ARP request is. And at the moment I'm not getting an IP address, which means there's no DHCP. Daniel, no, it's not America, it's not multiplayer tonight. Cable and Wireless, Moggy, that was who delivered our... so that was Cable and Wireless that did the Waltham Forest area. What's going on here? Oh, I see, green-red. Alright, fair enough, it's a highball then. Yeah, this is a fairly painful tunnel, isn't it, David? 10 miles at 25 miles an hour. Woo. Hopefully it's not too much longer. So I thought I'd, regale you with some stories and entertain you in a different way. $100 megabit up and down over fibre, and you can upgrade it to gigabit. That's really good service, Shribku. That's really good. Mine is 200 down and I think 15 up. Should be allowed to go faster in the tunnel. Well, given it's a straight line. It's not too much longer now. We've gone through lots of pain. Won't take too much longer now. The end is in sight, folks. Whitemead, yeah, we're just looking for somewhere to park. Francois, we're the same here. We've got a landline, but we just never use it. We just use our mobiles. How did I start a Dovetail? Well, I've known Paul Jackson, the CEO, for quite a long time prior to working here through UK Train Sim, essentially. And it was... I've met up with him numerous times for various reasons, and he eventually got to a point that he asked if I'd like to come and work. That large envelope you received this morning will go bang if you open it before Friday. Well, open it on stream then before Friday. That should be a laugh. So yes, Dave has sent me another joyous envelope. So it's been in sight for the last 5 minutes. Yeah, I think that's just the fact that he hasn't rendered it yet. Oh no, you can see the end now. You can see the stuff out the end there. So yes, Dave sent me another one of his awesome packages. It says no peaking until day of Manufacturer's birthday. Is there a way of setting the brightness on some of the simulations that are less well lit? You can change the gamma if you're running full screen. There you go, the HUD's showing the end of the tunnel. It's the end of the tunnel. Internet talk with Matt Pedestal of this tunnel. Harsh, dude. No, I am melting in here. Absolutely melting. There's something else due to go in the post as well on Wednesday morning. Crikey, Dave. Thank you very much, dude. End of the tunnel! Now I'm speeding. Duh, of course I'm speeding. Francois, what colour faction? I'm blue, I'm Mystic. Mostly because that's what everybody else at work is. I'm level 15 now, I think. I'm halfway through level 15. Well, at least he's not having a wee beside the road. The sunlight hurts your eyes. Should we go back in the tunnel then? Let's stop and go back in the tunnel. Looking after them. Stephen Jam, you get to pick the team you're in once you get to level 5. So if you haven't got to level 5 yet, then it won't ask you which team to join. And to think people want Channel Tunnel, well, you know what, this is what I keep saying. It sounds like an awesome idea until you do it once. So another Twitch streamer streaming Drunken Bob last night, Dave. How did he get on? Where did they get on? How do they stop fumes in the channel tunnel? Well, there's fans, extractor fans that pull it out. Francois, I didn't see all of ProMod 2.1 stuff last night, but what I saw was very, very impressive. I'm looking forward to it. Scenic Main Line West, we are stopping here. This is the end of the line. The Nut House is in Pro Mods as well, is it? Excellent. When we do multiplayer, well, we can't. You can't do multiplayer with Pro Mods, can you? Right, we're coming up to the stopping point now. Welcome, Connor Seymour. Right, haul on the anchors. And that's the end of that one. I'm enjoying the RBJets scenarios. Right, break time, come back for part 6 as we continue to push west. Right then folks, I think I'm going to call time on Train Sim for now, and I will schedule that New York New Haven maybe in for, no it won't be tomorrow, but I will put it in sometime this week I think. We'll take a look at that one. In fact, I'm just making a note of it now, so I don't forget. So we're doing Euro Truck Simulator now. Right. Good. Right, so coming up next is Euro Truck Simulator. I'm going to have a quick break, just go to the toilet, and then I'll be right back, and we will get on with it once I've got all the wheels, you know, done the G27 shuffle. Hope you'll stick around, and if you don't stick around, then that's fair enough too. And I'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock for more Train Sim. Don't forget tomorrow also Mantis Burn Racing. I'm going to be doing a look at. Oh, the Gaming Orange 2016. Thank you for the follow, much appreciated. Yeah, so Mantis Burn Racing tomorrow. It'll be after Train Simulator. I'm guessing around 10:30ish, assuming we start on time. Yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to showing that one off. See what you think about it.